do realize that these shorts are very...
a lot of thigh in this episode.
A lot of thigh heavy in this episode. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a special episode. You are in for a treat. We are joined by the son of New Hampshire. That's where you're from, right?
Yeah.
Zac Silverman. Welcome to the podcast, man.
Thank you.
How long have you lived here?
In Texas?
Yeah.
That's, I actually went to college here from 2013 to 2016.
Oh, really?
In Austin, yeah.
Wow.
Then I moved back to New Hampshire. And then in 2020, during the pandemic, I moved back here.
What made you move out here during the pandemic? Besides, was it just comedy or like?
I was already looking to leave New Hampshire because it's a dog shit state for dog shit people. But no, I'm just kidding. I love my I was looking to move. I was thinking either New York or Denver.
Yeah.
And then the pandemic just got worse and worse. And I was like, well, I've heard comedy's going to happen and maybe going to happen. I didn't think it would be this big. I really didn't. I didn't think Joe Rogan's influence was that big. I really didn't. But my thinking was, it's a pandemic. I know people in Austin, so I don't have to start from zero socially.
Yeah.
It's also just the winter during the pandemic just sounded like a nightmare. And at least in Austin, I didn't know how closed or shut down it would be. So it's like, if it's completely shut down, I was like, I can still like go for walks and be outside and do stuff that, and be, compliant. I mean, it turned out, I was shocked at how Austin was not shut down at all. Like even compared to like other parts of Texas.
Yeah.
It was I was definitely expecting Austin to go hard just because of relative to a lot of Texas is super liberal, but
yeah. How have you enjoyed it? How has it been for you compared to New Hampshire?
Well, I don't miss the winters.
Yeah.
The summers here are getting worse, right? I'm not crazy.
They're getting a little hot.
Last year was rough.
Yeah.
Last year was rough, and I imagine this year will be too, but I love the comedy. Comedy's fucking awesome here.
Yeah.
There's so much of it, and there's and then
Did you start in New Hampshire?
Yeah. I say New England.
Oh, okay.
Just because I had to go all over New England. Like there was always like two mics in my hometown, but like one was like would start and another one would pop up, end, So there was always like there's one good one and then other ones that would go in and out. So like every other night, if I wanted to do comedy, I'd have to drive 30 minutes to an hour and a half just to do 5 minutes. And I did.
Yeah.
It's what we all did. You'd be driving around New England and it would be like every mic would have like half the townies that just do that one. And then it would be half the people that you see at all of them.
Yeah.
Driving all over the place.
You a big clam chowder guy?
Not really. I don't dislike it.
Is it actually a big thing?
No. No one gives a shit.
So that's just marketing?
It's just a fun thing, chowder. It's just fun to say.
New England clam chowder, dude.
Yeah. I mean, I think like lobster roll is probably like a better like New England meal.
Is that something when you go back home, you're like, let me get a lobster roll?
If it's in season and I'm in Maine, maybe.
Yeah.
But I think for me, when I go back, there's more like specific restaurants where it's like, I can't get these chicken fingers taste like my childhood,
Whoa. Big chicken fingers guy?
Not really. I mean, I do. I love fried chicken or just chicken tendies, But there's a place that I grew up. I just had it a month ago and it still holds up. It's just like nowhere else has just had the same, like the way they fry it or something. It's just like,
Yeah, there's nothing better than a chicken tendy, dude. Like when it's real crunchy and then the chicken consistency is like really just cooked thoroughly.
Well, shout out to the Pizza Barn in New Hampshire. They have like the perfect, like flaky, greasy, crunchy chicken breading on the chicken tendy. It's so good. Dang. It's so good. Although last time I went there, they changed their barbecue sauce to I'm talking in Texas. They don't have like good barbecue sauce, but it's like it's just part of the nostalgia. I'm like, you bitch, you changed it. How dare you?
And okay, so you grew up in New Hampshire. What is like the big sports out there? Like,
Well, I mean, everyone's Pats fans. I mean, Boston. When you're in New Hampshire, you're part of New England, so everyone's for New England sports.
Okay.
So Pats, Red Sox, Bruins, big hockey, world.
Yeah.
Up north.
Are you playing hockey? Did you grow up playing hockey at all?
I mean, I've ice skated before, but not really. Yeah.
Are you pretty good at ice skating?
For how little I've done it, I'm not bad. But I never really did it that much.
Is that something is that a regular thing that people go out ice skating out there?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. If people that are into it, it's like, one of the reasons I left is because I never really clicked with winter activities. So winter was just this gray, cold 5 to 8 month period.
Yeah.
It gets so long where it was just, I just was miserable. I skied when I was younger, but then after middle school, I kind of stopped skiing. I never really got into skating. So it was just winter was just such a awful time. It's just the cold sucked, but it's the sun goes down at 4 o'clock.
Oh, that's depressing.
It's truly when I was working up there, I would wake up pitch black, I would drive home pitch black. It's it fucks with you. It's not good for you.
Would people do the fake sunlight? When they I have one of these alarm clocks that I have blackout curtains, but when I wake up, the light starts coming in the room.
I wouldn't.
No?
I don't know. I mean, my mom gave me these sunlight, those things, and I never really, I told her I used them, but I didn't. Judy, yeah. I didn't use it.
That's always crazy in the places where the sunlight really isn't there. And it's statistically more depression and just sadness with lack of sun.
Yeah. I mean, the birthplace of grunge is Seattle. And I've heard that's the most suicides per capita is Seattle. And the weather there is cloudy and rainy all year.
Wow.
Sounds good for you.
Yeah. Do you think you're going to stay in Texas?
As long as the comedy's fun.
Yeah.
And as long as I mean, I was thinking about long-term stuff, and it's wow, our power grid keeps shutting down.
Yeah.
It's it's failing in the summer and the winter. That's not good.
Is it during the summer?
Yeah, there's people getting blackouts when it gets too hot. That. Winter, you kind of have an excuse, but summer, it's dude, you should be built for that.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking well, in 10 years, is that going to be worse or better?
Yeah, I know in Austin. So whenever the last freeze was happening, the most recent one that wasn't crazy.
Yeah.
It was because of old power lines and the branches were freezing and then falling on the power lines. So in this area, newer developments, they're
it was fine.
It's all underground.
Yeah.
So there's no telephone poles. So I'm wondering if in Austin that's what the issue is.
Just gonna take some development and we'll be eventually better, maybe.
Fucking Elon Musk, get on it, dude.
Come on, man.
Yeah, that is alarming. It is crazy with it's probably you being from an East Coast place where people know how to drive in snow, during the actual freeze when they just weren't ready for it at all.
And I moved back right before that, so I did live through it. And it was legit snow. It wasn't sometimes Texas shuts down from it's a flurry, and it's okay.
Yeah.
That would have shut down school for a day. But the thing that fucks us this area is there's no plows or salt trucks or you know. So up north, it's you have all these trucks, so that just pushing it off the snow and salting the road so it melts. Out here, it's just there till it melts.
Yeah,
which took a week, or more. Yeah, I mean, it's fun to tease, but it's that was totally, people weren't prepared. And the driving is not even that, I didn't even realize that I was good at that until that, there's just stuff that you just muscle memory, you just kind of know how to handle stuff a little better. I had a memory during that where, I was driving super carefully to wait in a 4-hour line at HEB to get a few groceries. I don't know if it was 4 hours. I don't remember exactly. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The grocery stores were crazy then. And I was driving back, and there was a big hill right before my place. And I don't live there anymore, but this like big truck just goes up and just slowly just slides right off the road. And I'm in a Jetta, and I, in my like New Hampshire plates, just like drive around him and just go up the hill. And I downshift, you know. So he's in a fucking four-wheel drive giant fucking truck.
Yeah, there definitely is. That's all it is just like not used to something happening and not having infrastructure for it.
Yeah.
I think Austin now has like 3 salt trucks. And I'm like, I don't know if that's enough.
No, it's not.
But good luck, dude.
Better than nothing, I guess.
What was the biggest thing about Texas that like surprised you moving here?
How similar it is to New Hampshire culturally.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I have a few jokes about it, and I used to do more. But like, dude, there's just as many trucks. People are real into their fishing and their guns and their fucking state rights.
Yeah.
People are...
New Hampshire Republican?
Battleground.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it goes either way. It goes either way every election. Like in the primaries, for the last 2 elections, Donald Trump, Bernie Sanders. Wow. So very extreme political people. Like Hillary hasn't been able to win in New Hampshire.
Yeah.
Except for in the generals, I think, and even then it was like about like 1%. Like everyone's has very extreme political views on both sides. Like
interesting,
it is. But yeah, I mean, there is also like not quite Texas level, but there's some state like identity.
Yeah,
where people are like, yeah, live free or die, motherfucker. That's our slogan, live free or die. We're the last state that's still. If you're over 18, it is not illegal to not wear a seatbelt in New Hampshire.
Oh, what?
Yeah. We have again, I talk about some of this on stage, but like Texas is all like fuck taxes and stuff. But it's like, they're like, we don't have income tax. We don't have income or sales tax.
Wow.
We have no sales tax.
That's pretty awesome.
And we have the most expensive state schools because of it in the nation, because there's no taxes. You can't fund education.
Damn.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was crazy, surprising to me to realize that. Because then I tell people back in I tell people in Texas, and usually they're like, "What?" And I'm like, "I don't know, man." Like, and then I tell people in New Hampshire, and they're like, "Yeah." Like,
how's the property tax in New Hampshire?
So high.
Really?
Yeah, they get you somewhere.
Yeah.
It's like really fucked to be like, and it trickles down because like rent. I was living in Manchester, which is like the smallest city in New Hampshire, and or not the biggest city in New Hampshire, but it's like 200,000 people. It's still it's like San Marcos, I think.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest city in New Hampshire. It's my rent was as much as I pay here.
Oh, wow.
And it's just like, who gives a shit in New Hampshire? You know, there's nothing exciting. It's an hour from Boston.
Yeah.
I think that they figured out, Manchester could be cool if they figured out more housing and to deal with like rent prices and some better way to Boston, you know.
What is like the biggest export out of New Hampshire? What do you guys think?
Jeez, I don't even know anymore.
I don't know why I'm asking you all economical.
Yeah, questions. I don't know. I'm trying to think what like the truth is there's a lot of, just like myself, there's a lot of like drain, like young, because people move there to start a family. It's has a perception of being very safe,
right,
and good place for raising a kid. And then those kids grow up, and usually they leave. You know, that's like I did, because there's not a ton going on.
Yeah.
But there's some little tech stuff going on. I don't know. It's mostly just like my mom works at a pawn shop. My dad's a teacher. So it's like, those are not at all, those could be done anywhere, you know?
Works at a pawn shop.
She kind of manages a pawn shop.
Oh.
It's like a local, it's not like a Cash for Gold one. It's like a local, small owned thing. It's cool. I mean,
that's one of my favorite shows, Pawn Stars.
Yeah. That apparently completely changed that whole industry.
Really?
Like people love, it's like now, because I mean, pawn shops before were just like kind of this place you go as like a last hope.
Yeah, you were in trouble.
And now it's just kind of a cool thing to pop into and be like, oh, what do these guys got? You know?
Yeah. There's one down the street these motherfuckers have the audacity to sell used tools more expensive used than what they were selling down the street at Lowe's.
Yeah.
I was like, what are you doing, dude? You could just go right out and get it in a box.
Yeah, I mean, that's just a bad business model. And you're just hoping. I mean, I know, you know, the one my mom works at is they're as ethical as that business model can be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they give people, I think they're pretty good at like sometimes giving people extension. Because the business model is you go, I have this thing. Mm-hmm. And you go, we'll give you a little bit of money and we'll hold on to it. And you have until this amount of time to pay us back. And if you don't, we own it.
Yeah.
And sometimes people are very desperate and they pawn things that they shouldn't. Like their wedding rings and very precious items. And they're pretty good at being like, well, you had until this date. And that's like, we'll give you another week, you know?
Oh, really? That's sweet.
And in a lot of, there's kind of two ways of looking at it of like, some people I think look at it as like you're taking advantage of the most vulnerable people, like addicts, desperate people, hungry people. The other way to look at it is like, this is their last place to like help someone out.
There is no other option.
Yeah, it's like this is a way to have a profitable business that also is helping people out in their most dire straits, you know, which is a valuable thing. And a lot of people, especially up in New Hampshire, I think there's an ego to not want like a handout, you know. It's like there's a weird at least exchange with a pawn shop, you know what I mean?
Is that a cold weather thing where people are just like built tough and they're just like, yeah, we're rugged. I don't need no.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think also, again, because there's no taxes, there's not a lot of that available in New Hampshire, a lot of support available. Yeah. I think it's also like, you know, like people talk about like homeless problems and stuff. Like if you're homeless through some of the winters in New Hampshire, you're dead.
Yeah.
Just... So, you know, like if you can't figure that out, like you can't exist. You have to leave. Like
you got to be a real Boy Scout if you want to try to be homeless in New Hampshire, dude.
And I mean, some people do it, and you know, I don't
really.
Know.
You see them out there
a little
in the winter?
bit, yeah. So depending in a big city, of course, you know.
Man, yeah, in the city,
in Manchester.
Damn. Yeah. I haven't thought about the pawn shop in that sense, but yeah, it definitely is an opportunity to, if you're on the pawn side of getting things, it's like giving someone a personal loan at just a high interest rate that they wouldn't qualify for.
Yeah. And I think, right. It's like, instead of interest, it's like immediate collateral. Like, here's just like this thing of value.
Have you ever bought anything from a pawn shop?
Yeah, I mean, because they get things for cheap. My mom's like, I got a TV for like $8. You know, they just they'll sometimes like let the employees just pay what the pawn shop paid for them, which is pennies.
That's
you know
awesome.
what I mean? Yeah, it's like, haha, this guy. And the truth is, it's also a place where like people bring stolen stuff.
Right.
You know, is another thing. So all the time they have to like deal with police and stuff.
Oh, right.
Because they have ways of like. They have like systems of like checking if something's stolen, but it's like they're not cops, they're not private eyes. They're just gonna run their little thing just to make sure that it's not in the like no one's officially reported something stolen. You know, it's not their job to be Boy Scouts and be like, was this stolen? You know?
Yeah. So in that situation, if someone brings in something stolen, they just go, I can't buy this from you?
I think they would contact the police.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that sucks if they buy it. I saw an episode like that where they bought it and it was stolen, and then they literally just had to like give it over to the police.
Yeah. You just get
that.
away with it. Yeah, it's like your fault, which is such an odd. I mean, I guess on the flip side, like why would the police have to pay you for it? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's such an odd. Ultimately, some guy stole from you.
Yeah.
Now that's what happened.
Yeah.
Like.
So in New Hampshire, did you grow up hunting and fishing?
No, I'm a pussy. But that's huge. That's huge up there. Yeah, I'm just not a big outdoors guy, really. I mean, I would camp sometimes, and I've done it all.
Yeah,
but I've never hunted actually.
Really,
I've done camping, skiing, fishing. I've done it all, but I never clicked with anything.
So when you're pulling in a fish, you're just like, fuck this fish. It's just not your thing.
Yeah, it's been years since I've fished. I can't remember at all. I don't even remember if I caught anything.
So what is your favorite thing to do? Like hobbies
In New Hampshire?
in general?
Comedy.
Yeah.
But I played a lot. Well, growing up, what I did. Well, here's the thing. There's not a lot to do.
Mm-hmm.
Weather's nice. As I got older, now I go back, I appreciate some of the hiking and outdoor stuff. But when I was younger in high school, and this is what happens in New Hampshire, is what you do is you drive around smoking weed and, and just drinking underage in the woods. Like a big thing in New Hampshire is just like collect, because there's not like bars. There's not like, you can't like, everyone knows you know, so you just like collect liquor where you can. Maybe some older kid buys it for you. Maybe you steal it from your parents, and then you just go into the woods or someone's basement or someone's attic. And, you know, I'm having my experience, and now having talked to other people, that's everyone's experience. Yeah. You just like you're just going in the woods getting shit faced with like other 17-year-olds.
Dude, that was the greatest thing ever. You're just out there, Lord of the Flies. There's a bonfire.
Yeah. We had a spot we went to. It was actually pretty close to my place. We called it the jacuzzi because there was just like a hole in the ground. It was like a big dent, and just someone high or something called it a jacuzzi. And so we were like, we got to go to it's just what we called it.
Was there any water in this hole?
Not at all. It was just like a hole, like maybe like it was like you could stand in it. Yeah. Like it was just a noticeable ditch. And it's like one of those things that it was like my friend group's like spot. And then like one of us brought along like a year younger guy. And then we graduated, we went off, we did our thing. And then like a year and a half later, like we heard like, just like it would, this is how small where I grew up from. It's like word went out that was a good spot, and like immediately someone ruined it. They like lit a fire. They're like, and just like immediately got like park rangers called on them for like setting. Man. Now it's like an observed spot.
They ruined
just
the
like
fucking jacuzzi.
Littered it everywhere. Yeah, they ruined the jacuzzi.
That's the kind of spot you like trick a girl into going. Where you're like, dude, we're going to the jacuzzi,
right?
Dog.
Right.
In your suit, you know.
And it's just a fucking dent in the ground.
Yeah, dude. We would do dumb shit like that in high school, and then also there was like abandoned houses. So like I grew up in the desert. Mm-hmm. And it was kind of a similar thing where like at night there was nothing to do. There was like I lived a couple hours from the beach, like an hour and a half, and there was like no mountains and shit. So people would go out into the desert, like just find a spot way out in the middle of nowhere, and there'd be like abandoned houses, and we would start like partying at these abandoned houses. And there was one we even did up nice. Like we brought a bunch of abandoned couches and made it like this thing. And then we showed up one night, and this homeless guy walks in the room, and he's just like, "Hey, you guys partying?" And we're like, "Nah, dude." He's like, "I'm living in the other room." He's like, "You guys can chill though." And we're like, "Nah, we're getting the fuck out of here and never coming back, dude."
Hey, that guy's cool.
I mean, he was down for it. I mean, I wonder how cool he would have been if like he started drinking with us, and then, you know, he might have gotten weird. You know, you never know what sets him off. He probably had some cool drugs or very least some good conversation.
Well, that was what was going on too, because when I was in high school between 2008 and I graduated in 2013, was like at public high school, the opioid epidemic is happening.
Oh.
Hit New Hampshire really hard. Really hard, yeah. You know, we're an underfunded white state, you know, that we're the demographic. And what was interesting about that is going to public school, you know, and my town was so small, my school had like 8 towns went to one school.
Holy shit.
Yeah, you had to like, I was lucky enough to live in the town where the school was. Yeah. But like some people, the bus ride was 40 minutes to school. Shit. Yeah, and it wasn't traffic, you know.
How big of a school? Like how many people?
There were like 900 people in my class.
Oh, wow.
So the whole school was probably 3,500 kids between 4 grades, 4,000 at most.
Yeah.
Between like 8 towns.
That's pretty decent for 8 towns.
Oh, who am I kidding? I'm dumb. Well, no, I don't know. No, it was on about 1,000 kids. The whole
the entire school.
I don't know why.
Damn.
I was thinking my college.
Okay.
Yeah, no, my class was 200 kids.
Okay.
Yeah.
Much different.
That's
Because I think mine was like 600 or something. So I'm like, oh wow, that's a decent size.
No. My class was less than like right under 200. It was like 190.
Okay,
something.
yeah, that's a small.
Yeah.
Not a lot of options for the jacuzzi.
No, no, that's like another thing too. I hear like people talk about, it's like, well, that's like his ex. You know, it's like you have to date your friend's ex.
You gotta.
Like this. So I grew up like
Can't be
just,
picky.
Yeah, it's just not only it's like it's just like there's no one your age, and then even less people that you talk to. You know, like
That's rough.
Yeah, it's a whole different vibe.
And it's in high school. It's like, who gives a shit? You're not having kids with these people.
Right,
hopefully. You know, I'm sure a couple did at the jacuzzi.
Well, a surprising amount of them are having kids. So the opioid epidemic was weird because, like I said, in public school, you see, and New Hampshire is very poor, but also very rich. So you see, and obviously there's really good, impressive private schools in New Hampshire and stuff.
And they got the good opioids.
Oh, yeah. but I just mean at my public school, you see every demographic, economic bracket.
Yeah.
So it's like, I think in some way, like me and my friends knew what was going on better than our parents. Because they moved here like, oh, it's this nice, perfect postcard little town.
Right.
It's like we knew who the kids were that were living in their car or their dads died of heroin overdoses. Yeah. When I was 20, for my summer job in college, I was back in New Hampshire. All summer I worked at this, it was like a party tent rental place. It was like setting up like
party?
Like you set up a big wedding or something. You have a giant tent, like white tent, you know. So we would just drive all around New England with this big box truck that it was like it was, I think, just big enough that you needed like a special license to drive.
Got it, yeah.
And the guy that wasn't the owner of the company, it's a small company, just a tiny little company, you know, but he didn't own the company, but he was like the boss on the job, you know. He big day, we had like 3 jobs in one day. So we got up like super early to load the truck. You got to load it in order, correct order. And he's normally just kind of this grumpy guy. And like after we done loading the truck, he's like, I'm just going to the bathroom. And he goes to the bathroom for like 30 minutes. And he comes back like happy and just like rustling my hair. And he did that at every job. Like he just like left at the end for like went to the bathroom for like 30 minutes. Last job, we're in the middle of Massachusetts. We're not even in the same state. We're like an hour and a half drive from home. And he goes to the porta potty on the job. We just set up these tents on this beautiful property with like a lake. You know, it's like for some wedding. And he's just not. It's like been like 45 minutes. And we call him. We can see the little red, you know, he's in the porta potty.
Oh my God.
We like knock on the door, like, well, are you in there? I'm not going to say his name.
Yeah.
But we called him. We hear his phone go off. So we have to like tell the property owners to like open the door. And he's just in there, passed out, puke on his knee, baggie of heroin on the ground.
Holy
He didn't
shit.
die. We had to call an ambulance. He was fine. I don't know what he's doing now, but he was fine. But yeah, he was just driving around this big box. That was the other problem is we're now 2 hours from home. We can't contact our boss. We can't drive this truck.
You don't have the license for it. Oh my God.
So we had to like call one of our coworkers' dads who was just an hour from, and just like kind of wait awkwardly with these very patient customers, you know.
Did they get a discount?
I don't know. I hope they got their whole thing done for free.
Damn, that is wild.
Yeah. It was just, and that's not a unique story up there. You know, it's everywhere. It was everywhere. I think a lot of it, you know, it's still big, but
With heroin?
I mean, the fentanyl stuff is just everywhere now.
Yeah.
I was thinking about now, like drugs are as scary as our parents warned us.
Dude,
now.
that is such a great point.
It's like you do this once and you die, and then you grow up and you're like, no. And now it's like, well.
Yeah. That's so true, dude. Fentanyl, scary as fuck.
Oh, yeah. It really, it's crazy. That it's who's doing that? Is that China? Who's fucking us?
At this point, I think so, man. It's crazy how much stuff gets cut with fentanyl, like cocaine. Like they're adding it in cocaine.
Yeah, just to make it bigger, to have more of it, so you can sell more of it. I don't.
I've never really dived into the booger sugar, but it is my understanding that a small dosage of fentanyl will give the user a high experience. So they're adding a little bit of fentanyl into it to really bad cocaine to give people a better experience.
So they think it's good, but they add a little too much.
You add a little too much, and you're killing your
customers. Not a great business model.
No.
But I imagine the coke's bad already because it's being cut with crap. So it's like you're just drinking like a brick and you're making it 6 bricks, with just shit,
Yeah, when I lived in Puerto Rico, I went to college out there. They used to, this was the whole thing, like, because you would go to the barrio, like the ghettos, to buy marijuana. And there was some stuff that they would spray with Windex just to make it smell more potent.
Ugh.
And there was a couple times. I remember one time this dude was like, dude, there's this crazy deal. It's a fire sale, basically. It was like Black Friday deal, basically. And he brings me a freezer bag full of weed. And I paid like $60. And I was like, there's no way I should be getting a freezer bag, a gallon-sized bag of weed. And I open it, and there's sticks, there's stems, there's seeds scattered. It was just this dry stuff.
Yeah.
I smoked a little bit, and I was like,
yeah.
Just toxic. It felt like there was Clorox in there or some shit. I did smoke it, but you got it. I paid for it. I was like, it wasn't Amazon. I couldn't return it,
Dude, the weed smoking, like, addiction is like, because people are like, it's not addictive, but like I've had like roommates that like smoke a lot of weed, and you just see them when they don't have weed, and they're just like picking at the little bowl and like getting all the resin. I've had multiple roommates. I've just like, you see them like they're like doing a project just to like imitate smoking. Like I don't even think it's getting them high. I think they just want the sensation of the ritual. Like
I think that's what a lot of it is that ritual. Like I don't really smoke anymore at all. But there was something beautiful back in the day when you're really in like a rotation with a blunt, just like passing. Like there's something about that ceremony where you're just like, this is a great time, But when you're scraping the inside of a bong and just trying to get a little cherry going on some black tar, you're just like, nah, this is
gross, dude.
Yeah. Do you have any vices?
I've been drinking. I drink a lot. No, I don't drink that often. But when I drink, I'll get drunk. Like, it's like that's how. I mean, maybe I'll have a beer with dinner or something.
Yeah.
Like on a Friday or Saturday night, like decisions made. I'm having 20.
Wow.
And I eat like shit.
Yeah.
I eat like I'll eat pizza 3 times a week. Yeah.
It's so good though.
It's so good.
And if you like get your body good on bad food, you feel good eating it. Because I'll fuck up and eat way too healthy for too much. And then I'll eat like 2 pieces of pizza and I'm awake in the middle of the night. And I'm like, my body just turned on me,
It's so annoying how good for you being healthy is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like when it's like you're eating super clean, you're doing all the right, you're drinking water, you're exercising, you're able to sleep. It is like, God damn it. Like I feel so good.
Yeah.
You don't want it to be true.
Yeah, I'll feel hungover from eating out.
Yeah, I know what you mean. When you
like
get
your
off
sinuses
of it.
feel all stuffy, like if you ate a lot of dairy or something.
Oh yeah, like you just you feel sick.
Yeah,
and I've been trying to get better with the diet too, because I want to. I want to.
You want to live.
I want to live, and I want to feel good, and I want to lose a little weight. And
what is do you eat desserts too or no?
I used to be more of a sweets guy, but sometimes I'll have ice cream or candy. But I would rather eat a whole pizza than
so
get
good,
ice cream.
Dude.
Like it's like, I prefer the meal. Like
like a nice smorgasbord of ribs or something like that.
Yeah, definitely. Don't get me wrong. I fuck with ice cream. I like sweets, but I prefer if I'm gonna be a piece of shit, it's gonna be on 2 burritos,
because there's a way to justify that over sweets. You're like, sweets, I'm not doing anything for me. But if I'm eating 2 burritos or a whole pizza, I'm carb loading. Right. You know, this is bulking right now.
I was trying to think about that too, because I lift weights 4 to 6 times a week. You know, and I go to the gym almost every day, and people always are like, "You bulking?" You know, it's like I was like, "What?
How rude!"
Yeah, it's like no, I'm bulking. Like it's like, "Oh, you cutting?" Like it's like people always think there's a plan. Yeah. To what I'm doing.
I'm just trying to live, bro.
I was talking to, Jack Timmons, I remember I mentioned I just like had a whole DiGiorno pizza for dinner. He's like, doing a little dirty bulk, huh? It's like, no, I just ate a whole, there's no like strategy. Like I'm just eating fucking dog shit. Like,
bro, a whole DiGiorno pizza sounds like such a great time though.
Yeah.
You sit down in front of that and you're like, this is going to be a good night. Put some on TV.
I left my apartment today, and I went, don't you dare, on the drive to San Marcos or back, stop for fast food. And there's no way I'm not after this conversation. There's a Five Guys right next to the mic we're going after.
Man. Is there a Five Guys right there?
Oh, yeah. Right next to it.
That's what's fucked up about fast food is it literally is fast food. Because it's just like, oh, you just hit this and go right on the freeway and you're on your way, putting a hand in the bag, getting some fries, dude. Do you wait until you get home for the fries or are you eating them in the car?
I have a whole strategy where to like not do that. And it never works. 100% of the time, they're all gone by the time. Damn. I'm like, you gotta wait, get home. You have the ketchup. You have spicy ketchup.
Yeah.
I get the spicy ketchup, which is the best part of Whataburger, and then you bring it home any other fast food, and then you get it, and it's amazing. And then it doesn't make it.
Dude, the trick is you have to put the fast food out of your reach. So you take it, you throw it in the back seat, or you just put it in the trunk. Like you don't even think mindlessly, and you just, because if it's sitting right next to you, it's just like, just touch
That's
it.
how I feel with drinking and driving. You just got to put I'm just kidding.
Dude, sometimes when I'm getting getting fast food, like with my wife, she'll be like, let's get a car fry. And that's like, we'll get an extra fries.
Oh my God,
just
dude.
for the car. I'm like, that's dangerous, but it makes sense at the time, so I do it.
Going to like McDonald's with poor fat people is the greatest experience. Like they somehow get like they're like, I got the app, I got the butter, and it's like, how did you get like 7 trillion calories and it was $6? Like, I don't know how it's crazy.
Yeah,
the ingenuity.
I never feel good after McDonald's specifically. Their food is so dog shit. But I let it, it's like a guy that breaks my heart. I'm like, come on, baby, it'll be fine this time. And I'm like, all right, one more time. And then he cheats on me again. Yeah. McDonald's never is good to me.
I feel that way. I don't mind McDonald's, but I don't dislike it that much, but I never choose it. It's never my first choice. That's exactly how I feel with Burger King.
Really?
I don't like Burger King. Every time I go to Burger King, it's always, why don't I ever go to Burger King? And then I get it and I'm like, this sucks. For me, I mean, in here like we have Pete Terry's, we have Whataburger, we have such good options for fast food. I don't know why anyone goes to McDonald's.
Have you ever had Hat Creek?
No.
Now, if you want a good burger, it's a little pricey. It's like $13 for the meal, but it's a great burger. You go there, you get their Southwest Cowboy burger.
All right.
Got jalapenos on it. Great fries, great seasoned fries.
Nice.
Yeah. Hat Creek Cafe is probably the #1 burger spot out here. That's fast food.
Yeah, that sounds delicious.
Pete Terry's, I had it once, and granted, in its defense, I did have, unbeknownst to me, COVID at the time. So I was like, this food is dog shit.
Doesn't taste like anything.
Yeah. And then that night in bed, I was like having weird sinus shit, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure I actually have COVID.
I like too with COVID, because everyone's like, oh yeah, I didn't really feel bad. It's like, you have any like lasting? It's like, no, it was fine. I haven't been able to smell in 4 months.
Yeah, dude.
That's a humongous issue. Yeah.
That was actually, have you had it yet?
No.
Dude, what a unicorn.
Dude, I think I'm immune. And I said that multiple times. Every time I say it, I'm like, I deserve to get it. Because I was in Manhattan the week before it shut down.
Because you partied at the jacuzzi, dude.
Yeah.
You don't know what happened out there, dude.
But I was in Manhattan.
Swapping girlfriends.
Like literally, I thought about. went to New York for a weekend with some comic friend. You know Patrick Depari. I was with Patrick Depari, of all people, and another friend of ours. And we thought about canceling because there was this, at the time we called it coronavirus. Remember that? We were like, it'll be fine.
This
So
episode just got flagged on YouTube for
Yeah.
you saying Voldemort's name.
Sorry. Yeah, can you not say that? No one. It's been years since anyone's called it that.
They always put a little banner if you mention it. And and whatever his name, Fauci has to look over the video.
You mentioned COVID first. You said you had COVID when you ate.
Yeah.
You had fake COVID. But anyway, we were in New York. Patrick got it. And we drove 4 hours home in a car together.
Yeah.
He had it. I never got it. I got tested and everything. I got blood tests to be like if I have the antibodies. Never got it.
Oh, wow.
My roommate has had it twice. I never got it. I hooked up with a girl. The next day, she goes, "So I have COVID."
Oh, wow.
I never got it. I don't know what I can do to get COVID. I've been going to comedy since before. I was in Austin, Texas, which is like the worst place to be for COVID. I don't know what I can do to get it.
That's pretty cool.
It is cool.
Yeah. Fuck you, COVID. The losing the taste was, so I had it when the Delta was going around, which was I was getting cold sweats. I woke up in the middle of the night, literally thought I pissed myself. How wet my bed was. Jeez. I was like, I peed like a loose hose all over myself because I was like, there's no way I sweat this much. Yeah. But I was like drenched, like someone dumped a bucket.
It was crazy. Me. I did come to your place and pee on you.
Dude, now we know finally. But yeah, it was just achy. But losing the smell and not tasting anything was the worst part of it. Yeah. Because it's a weird sensation to have your nose in coffee and just be like nothing. Yeah. And then I went and even got the spiciest wings they had at Wingstop. Mm-hmm. Couldn't taste a single thing. Oh my God. And it was the weirdest. I just kept putting salt.
Isn't it weird that you still eat like shit?
I just wanted to feel alive.
Right. Because it's like, because it's not, I don't know. It's like, it's so much more than the taste for junk food and stuff. Because it's like, you think I can't taste anything. Might as well just eat kale smoothies. Yeah. I don't want to do that. Yeah, no. I want to eat Wingstop.
Dude,
not enjoy it.
Yeah. What they've mastered with fast food and everything is the right amount of crunch with softness and an over flavor of seasoning
and salt.
Yeah, dude. A nice sweet and salty. That'll get me. Yeah.
What's crunchy and salty or not crunchy and salty, but just crunchy and gooey is what a combo.
Bro, fuck. Yeah, what are we doing after this? We're going to get some DiGiorno and some ice cream and some Snickers. No. So is Texas somewhere that you would settle? Where you would want to actually start a family if you want a family later on?
If that's not by any means a specific aim, but I would not be upset if that happened. Right. I think having a lot of fun here, really enjoying it here. The comedy is great. I do like parts of Texas. There's nowhere that's perfect. Yeah. But there's not. I don't know. There's been not. I could be convinced to move somewhere else for the right reasons, be it work or comedy or love or whatever,
They get the jacuzzi going again.
I would go back to New England if I had a family, to raise a kid. Not necessarily, but I would definitely consider it. It's just a good place. It's a place. It would be nice to be near. I bet my parents would love, their grandkid or whatever. They're not getting one. They keep asking. No, they don't ask. They're very nice.
That's funny. Yeah. What did you go to college for?
Marketing, digital marketing. Really? Yeah. I wanted to be involved in film and just content creation, but I didn't want to I never felt like I wanted to do it. So they had I went to St. Edward's University in Austin. They had a digital marketing degree.
Oh, okay.
It was cool. It was all right. I like college. I told you off camera I played rugby during college.
Oh, right.
That's kind of where I started. Like, that's where I realized I liked being strong. Like, I wanted to. That's where since I moved back to Austin, I got very much more into like the rhythm of working out and doing it a lot smarter.
Yeah.
But going to college was because I've always been just naturally a big guy. Mm-hmm. So I had like an idea that I was like a strong guy. Mm-hmm. And then I like went through puberty without doing any sports, you know? And it's like all of a sudden, like I'm like puffing and puffing. And, you know, like in my mind, I'm strong. I'm like, no, you're not. Why would you be? So like in college, I ate like shit and drank a lot and didn't work out smartly. So I got fat too. But I did. I've been pretty regularly exercising since college, and then the last couple of years I've gotten much smarter with it, and the results show for themselves. Fans.
So you played college rugby?
It's a club, you know what I mean? It wasn't it wasn't like I got recruited, or it's like I paid to play. You know? But it's fun.
That's a rough sport.
Yeah, it is, but it's also like there's this sort of subconscious thing that when you've because you're like, you're no pads, you know, you're tackling no pads, but it's like
you hit like
it's gonna hurt you as much as it hurts them, right? You know, so it's more like running and just like grabbing and just falling over. Like the people because there were people that did like these football tackles and they got hurt, they got injured, and they couldn't. You can't keep that up. It's not what the sport is.
Yeah, that's kind of always been the thing with like the NFL, like saying like there'd probably be less concussions if they took like pads and helmets off.
Yeah, almost definitely. Just seeing the way rugby people play at the highest level. Sometimes though, just it's a violent sport. Injuries happen, concussions happen all the time in rugby, of course, but not to football's level.
Yeah,
you can hit with your head in football.
It's so crazy.
It's crazy.
Do you watch football?
No, I'm not really a sports guy.
What do you watch on TV?
Whatever, like the cool. I just watched The Last of Us. You know,
What'd you think?
I mean, I'm a big fan of the game.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I really like the show. I think there's some things the game did better, and some things the show did better, but it was really good. Did you not like it?
No, I loved it.
Yeah.
I thought it was great. I thought. Like, I loved how each episode was like its own arc.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't just straight continuation of a story. It was almost like a story within a story.
That was, I think, something the show did better that they did well as a show. Because in the game, it's not quite like that. It's like a lot of the game is getting from place to place. So it's like, and that's good for the game.
Yeah.
You know, there's way more zombies that you have to fight. And like,
that was one thing. There was
not many zombies in that show.
Yeah.
But I think it worked for the show that it's like, we're just here. And this is like important. It's like a vignette.
Yeah.
But what I like too, and I realized when watching the show, is it felt like they're almost traveling to like different zombie shows. You know what I mean? Like there's like, we're in this town and it's like, this could be what's happening in this town could be a season of The Walking Dead, but we're just passing through.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
that's a really good point.
Yeah, so it's like, I don't know. It was cool. I liked it a lot. And the actors were great. I don't know. The chick that plays Ellie was so good.
Yeah.
She's so good in the game too. It's a different performance, but they're really good. Game's good.
Did you, so the girl who played Ellie's mom in the show, that was the voice of the girl?
I never played the second game, and I started playing it because of the show. So when that episode came on, it was kind of jarring because like earlier in the day, I like hear Ellie, and just to see this like full grown adult woman have the same voice was like, because the guy that plays like Joel he's in the show too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in the episode where the preacher guy that tries to rape Ellie,
right?
His like right hand guy.
Is the voice?
That's the voice of Joel in the video game.
I didn't know that.
But yeah, much quieter, doing a different voice. It was a lot less jarring. And then, but yeah, she was just doing the voice. Like her voice sounds like Ellie in the game.
Yeah.
It was very obvious.
Did you like The Walking Dead compared to?
I gave up on The Walking Dead.
How dare you?
Before like 2 seasons before Negan showed up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I gave up on it a long time ago. Wow. I watched like the first 4 or 5 seasons, and at one point, what happened was just I didn't. I like getting into a show. I like fucking watching it every week. I go on Reddit to see what other people have to say about it, and then I missed it. I didn't realize it was happening, and I went, I'm done. I'm not catching up. And I just decided I'm out, and I'm no regrets. Yeah. It seems like it got very bad.
Well, what's crazy is I was like die hard, and then when Glenn died, spoiler alert, and that all started happening, I watched like the next season with the Whispers, and then I fell off. Yeah. But then I went back again after watching The Last of Us and started watching The Walking Dead again, and I finished the series, and it's so good if you just watch it like not with like expectations of wondering what's going to happen, but you're like, what, like the story, so good, dude. And Negan's like character arc, like what they do with him and his development throughout the show is awesome, because it goes from like the worst guy in the show to like the best guy in the show. Like it's pretty nuts.
And it's like believable and fair.
Yeah. Cause it's over, cause there's a time jump at one point. So you're seeing him over like 7 to 8 years of like his character changing from 7, 8 years with this group. Yeah. So it's not like a jarring, like all of a sudden twist in his character.
Right. He's like, now I'm a good guy.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, that's annoying.
Yeah. He like
Dragon Ball Z. Like,
yeah. Dude.
It's like, I guess we love you now.
Dude, I love Dragon Ball Z.
Oh, dude, it's the best.
They would just stand there talking shit for an entire episode, and then it's like, find out what happens next on Dragon Ball Z.
Dude, that narrator rule is like, the next time on Dragon Ball Z.
I loved it, dude. I was a kid just trying to power up and shit, watching it.
I would go, we didn't have cable because my mom's a maniac. My mom's going to hear this. That's why I keep saying she's absolutely going to listen to it. So we'd go to like the video store. It wasn't Blockbuster. We had like our own little local A&B video, and we'd go and we rent Dragon Ball Z VHSs, and they didn't have everything. So just like every so often we'd like put in a video, and it would have like 6 episodes, and then it was like we'd get the next one, and it would be like it skipped 8 episodes. Really? You know what I mean? So I watched it like so jumbled and out of order, and because they sometimes wouldn't have, like sometimes they wouldn't have the next one because it was someone else who was renting it. Yeah. Or sometimes they just wouldn't have it, period. So it was just like, all right, you just don't get to know how Gohan became that. You know, like how, like, I remember.
It's almost like a choose your own adventure. You can just fill in the gaps, what you want.
You know, I have actually rewatched it as an adult. A lot of it's still pretty fucking sick. Like,
I started the series over probably like 2.5, 3 years ago. And I was like, I can't do it.
They're doing more.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, they just made a movie. Like another movie, not like a real life, like an animated one.
Wow. Yeah. I would love to see it real life. If they could pull it off.
They did. It was awful. The Dragon Ball Evolution.
When did that happen?
Years ago. Like over a decade ago.
It's not ready.
Yeah, it's like, I think Jackie Chan was Master Roshi.
All right.
Yeah.
Like with what they did with Endgame and like the Infinity War. Yeah. They're like that kind of like vein. They could pull it off. But they would have to spend a lot of years building up this entire world.
Plus it's like, it's better as a cartoon.
It's true.
You know what I mean?
It's
like
true.
I feel like it's such a ridiculous show. It's like, why do you need fucking real people doing this? Like the movie is about like Goku's like this white teenager like in high school who like it's awful. It's so bad. That's why they're doing more now. They're making more. They made like another couple movies that continue the series, and they did that because the guy that made it saw that movie and was like, this is awful.
This is not.
I gotta make more Dragon Ball Z. Yeah.
Did you see the latest Mortal Kombat movie?
I did. It's the first movie I saw in theaters since COVID.
It was like because you know how they put out that little 4-minute thing or 7 minutes on YouTube? Yeah. I thought I had such high hopes for it. I was like, oh, this is fucking sick. They're going like a very like, like martial arts style movie, like almost like a hidden dragon, crouching tiger style. And then they just turned into a cheeseball movie.
It was so bad.
Because the original Mortal Kombat movies are so terrible.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, they weren't ready with special effects and anything to be able to pull this
Sure.
off. And then they showed that little like teaser on YouTube, and I was like, this is going to be amazing. And then they were like, that was the coolest part of the movie, and now this is all
I think
dog shit.
I think it would be fine to do it cheesy, but it's like the fighting wasn't that good. The
They made
characters
up a
were
character
Yeah,
for
why?
it.
There's 7 trillion characters in Mortal Kombat. Why make up a new one?
Yeah. Yeah, and then I think they're...
And he looks shitty.
Yeah.
Like he didn't have any cool fucking things about him. It was like, I don't want to see that character in the game, you know?
Yeah.
Like...
And didn't they tease Johnny Cage at the
I
very
think so.
end?
Yeah.
And then they're like, we want to do another one. We're like, nah.
Just do Johnny Cage.
Do him from the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, nah. All right, man. I think we got to head out in a little bit. But last thing.
Yeah.
What is Zac Silverman's 10-year plan? What is your goal going forward? What are you trying to achieve in your life?
I would like, I want to keep doing comedy. I want to get better. I would like to, in 10 years, hopefully be headlining some kind of venues, you know? It'd be cool if in 10 years, that's comedy's the only source of my income.
Yeah.
That'd be very exciting. I don't know how that would happen. It would be, at the very least, if I could work part-time and then do comedy part, that would be very cool too.
Yeah.
Comedy's my main ambition.
Yeah.
But outside of that, keep my health, be happy, maybe fall in love, maybe not, you know. These bitches, you know.
Amen, brother.
It's not, like I said, it's not like a primary objective, but if it happens, it happens.
That's when it happens.
Yeah.
When it's not a primary objective.
Yeah.
That's when it happens, man.
What about you? This is a nice place. You just stay here, build a home.
Yeah. This is start popping out some babies soon.
Yeah, you want to do that?
That's what I got to do. That's what the boss down the hall said.
No.
Yeah.
Gorgeous house. It's a good place to have a bee kid.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Same, man. I wanna make comedy the full-time income.
Podcast and stuff.
Podcasting. And just enjoy life, you know?
Yeah.
Find a way. I think all of our goal is to find a way to just...
To not have a real job.
Yeah, and just spend your day doing stuff you enjoy.
Yes.
Which is why this is literally the dopest job, like why people want it to be a career, because it's like, oh, this is so much fun.
Yeah. Because obviously being on stage is so fun, but then also it's like if it's your only source of money, all of a sudden you have to figure out how to like it's smart for your career to fucking do ridiculous shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's like smart.
Right.
It's like good for you to do crazy shit because it becomes material long term, like in perspective, you know. Like that's a cool freedom.
Yeah, that's always something that's interesting, and where I try to always still live and like do fun stuff and not get consumed with like all I do is spots, all I do is write. But it's like you have to live to make the actual jokes come to you.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, half of doing comedy is just living. And that's what Bill Burr says.
Yeah. All right, Zach. Where can people? So you run a show every Tuesday in Austin at the pub, Baker
Street Pub. Yep, Tuesday on South Lamar, and then.
Where can people find you online?
At Zac Silverman, one word on Instagram, and that's kind of it.
What a stud, Zach! Thank you.
I do digital marketing for a living, and I'm terrible at it for myself.
We didn't figure that out. Thank you for doing the podcast. I appreciate it, brother.
Thanks for having me.
Everybody, go check out his stuff, and we love you.
Evan has great ice.
Hell yeah, dude! That small ice, baby.